Hi, Hilor.
Hey, Rohit.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Anytime.
So, a little story for our guests. Hilor is someone who I met at my workplace.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Toastmasters club at our workplace, and that's where I met her. And she's one of the best members of the club. Like all the impromptu sessions, she does really well. She's won a lot. She also has done amazing speeches, and when I first started to socialize with her, she was like, "Oh, if you can't make it out, I love to talk."
Yeah.
Okay, and I saw that in the Toastmasters club. I see it whenever I meet her. And since this show is called Talking to the Moon, where my guests are the moon, I'll be talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why not have someone who loves to talk anyway? And just record it. So here we are with Hilor.
It's pretty fitting, I must say.
Yeah, thanks. Hilor, you're one of the people I've consistently had the most fun with whenever I've met you or hung out with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we have known each other for years or something,
Yeah.
but I still I have so much fun with you. When I first got to know you, I was like, oh, this girl has an accent. She must have been born here. She must have grown up here. She's Gujarati, and Atlanta has a lot of Gujarati people, which is great. So I was like, oh, she must have been born here. But during her first speech at our Toastmasters club, I realized and I found out that she actually came here in her 9th grade.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah, I found that very interesting because either there's people like me who come here really late in their early 20s or something, or people who are born here. This is something I have not seen very often. It's like a mid generation kind of immigration. First of all, how did this come to happen? How did you come here in 9th grade?
So it's actually pretty funny story, I would say. When I was born, my foy, and all the Gujarati people know what foy is, but it's my dad's sister, put in our file to come here. So for me, my sister, and my mom, and then I was born. So then she had to modify the file and stuff for me. So even before I could understand language, I was already destined to be here.
Okay.
We were just waiting for our file to open. But when I first found out, I was kind of upset at my parents because I found out when I was in 8th grade, and I'm like, you guys should have told me earlier. I put so much hard work doing studies and homework in India, but so I came here in 9th grade.
Okay, and you came here. So you came here to Chicago, I think.
Yeah, I first went to Chicago, and then I stayed there for a year, and then I came to Georgia.
To Georgia, okay. So what was it like coming to a new school in 9th grade? I remember I came from a small town to a large city in my 8th grade. I was still surrounded by people who looked like me, who spoke like me, and yet I sort of underwent a lot of bullying. So that itself was a bit tough. You are uprooting your whole life, coming to a completely different country. I'm sure you had the Indian accent.
Yeah.
And no matter how much American pop culture we are fed, it's completely different coming here and actually interacting and navigating your way. Also, you're hitting puberty and stuff. We are going through crazy times. How was that?
I think it was very hard, I would say, because let me think. When I came here, even in India, there was no Instagram or Snapchat or no Spotify or Apple Music. So when I first came here, I didn't even know one single English song. No pop songs. I honestly didn't even know who Drake was. So it was very hard to come to a school where my school was filled with a lot of rich people. To come there and people realizing that you don't know who Drake is, you don't know who all the important people in America, who they are, or you can't speak the same language that they do really well. So I think it was very hard, a huge cultural change. And I would be lying if I said that it was all easy, because it was not easy.
It was not,
So,
So, were there any specific challenges that you faced? Were you bullied or Something?
I wouldn't say I was bullied necessarily. I would just say that I was definitely treated differently,
Right.
and I'm not sure why,
Yeah.
but I think that it's just because that it's also very hard for those people too to like mix with someone who's
So different.
not
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And nowadays, like in college,
Yeah.
especially at Georgia Tech or like anywhere
Yeah.
big school,
Yeah.
so many like immigrants come in. So
Yeah.
I feel like people are used to that too, and you know
Right.
they're very much more accepting
Right.
rather than in high school. And we're talking about 2013 here,
Yeah.
you know, where it wasn't easy to come to United States, especially in high school because there was no like student visa for high school.
Correct. Yeah.
So not many people looked like me where I was. So it was difficult, and I did have to face a lot of challenges.
Okay. I mean, the only reason I'm asking is because American pop culture has stereotyped high schools being a breeding place for people getting bullied, regardless of who they are and where they come from. That's why I was just trying to understand how it was for you. But that's interesting. What were some cultural shocks that you remember from that time?
Oh man, I feel like it's not even from that time. I still have them.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to me. Cultural shock. I would say like songs too. Like when I first started listening to American songs, I didn't understand a word what they were saying.
Right.
So it was weird to listen to something, and I felt like I had to listen to it to maybe fit in.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand a single word what they were saying.
Yeah.
So that was big, and like the cultural shock, the idea of not wearing uniforms, because remember, like I was in high school, you know, like so 8th grade in India, especially where I went, we had to wear uniforms, and on Wednesdays, the only day
PT uniform.
on Wednesday we get to wear whatever we want, you know? So coming here, it was like every day is I can wear whatever I want, which for some people it may seem like, oh, that's so fun, that's so nice, but it wasn't like that for me because
it could be so much pressure.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure
because you have to like
dress up.
Yeah.
Dress up, especially in Chicago where it snows so much. I remember back in the days when we first came, it was so like we didn't have that much money to even buy snowshoes. So I never had snowshoes. I would wear like tennis shoes in snow. So it was hard. So that was culture shock, and dialect was a big culture shock. Didn't understand a lot of things that people said. I remember like in my math class, and you know we're Indians, we're good at math. Everyone knows that at this point. But I took algebra, and I wasn't like doing that good in class, and it wasn't because I didn't know the stuff. I knew the stuff. It's just because I didn't understand a single thing the teacher said. You know, neither could I communicate with him like what I wanted. And it wasn't like I didn't understand English or I can't speak it. It's just different. You know?
Wow, okay, that is still amazing that you sailed through all of it. Your resolve must have been really strong. I want to come to a bit funny part now. So how did this accent develop? Like I know it's not an overnight thing. So I can tell you what happened to me. Like I still have an Indian accent, but now because I work with people who don't have the same accent as mine, subconsciously I think your mind and your mouth, they try to like do things. So now my R's sometimes they are like rolling. So I'll be like, oh, party.
Yeah, I went to a party.
Party, yeah. But everything else is still like pretty much the same. How did that transition happen with you? And were you like aware, oh, this is happening today, I am speaking this way?
I don't remember a specific time when the transition happened, and I still don't think it has happened completely. But the thing is, over time, it's not that you're forcing yourself to learn. Like you said, your brain hears something and then you just start saying it over and over again. For example, I don't say schedule anymore, I say schedule. Because I know people in India say schedule, and there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like it needs to be a point everywhere. That there's nothing wrong
with anything.
With having an accent. And as he mentioned in my speech for Toastmasters, that was all my speech was about, like accents and how I'm proud to have the accent that I do have because I can't say any word that has W's and V's. So I can't say...
We're gonna come to that.
So I guess I'll save the good for the rest. But when it comes to accent, I did develop some of the words that are not very typical for our hometown to say. And I think the way it happened is just by listening and repetition,
Right.
and also hanging out with people that
Yeah.
don't look like me.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
because you'll eventually start picking up, and even like TV shows and
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
and movies.
Yeah.
I feel like your brain does a lot of work when you don't even realize it's doing the work.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
And did that affect your Gujju?
No, not at all. I think I can speak very good Gujarati, and
Nice.
a lot of people are very
Surprised?
just like you.
Yeah.
When they first see me, even my friends like back in India, they talk to me, you know, and all of a sudden like they feel the need to talk to me in English, and I'm like, I know Gujarati.
Yeah.
I can still write, read, understand. I still like am very up to date with Gujarati. And that too because my parents are Gujarati, and when I go home, which I do very often, or try to at least, we don't speak English at all.
Of course,
it's all Gujarati.
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, and now coming back to the word, her speech was so interesting. I was like completely floored and completely hooked when she was speaking. Yeah, could you? So I know what you spoke that day, but could you tell a bit for our audience, like some things from that speech?
So I guess I'll start with an anecdote. That's how I started my speech. I was in sophomore year.
Yeah.
No, not sophomore year. Yeah, sophomore year of college, which is second year of college.
Yeah.
And we were all in the cafeteria, and I wasn't feeling that good. So I felt like I had a fever and stuff. And you know, back then COVID didn't exist, so it was definitely a fever. I was there, and then I looked at my friend, and I looked at her, and I was like, "Hey, you know, I'm gonna pass for breakfast. I think I'm gonna go to my dorm and put some wigs on and go to sleep." And she looked at me like she was crazy. She's like, "What on?" I was like, "Wix," and I thought that she didn't know what that was because apparently I only thought that Wix was an Indian thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, Wix, like the vapor rub, and then she's like a candle wick, and I pulled up, I googled Wix vapor rub, and I showed it to her.
Yeah.
She's like, "That's Vicks with a B," and then it was almost in a very not a good manner.
Yeah.
So almost she made fun of me in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So I let it go and I went to my dorm. And at that time, I used to live with one of my really good friends. I've known her since 10th grade of high school. So we've known each other for quite a while then. So who's not Indian? So I went up to her and I was like, "Hey, like, did you know about this?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah.
And I was like, why did you not call it out? Like, you should have improved.
Yeah.
You should have told me so I could improve, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, "No, because I think it's very cute.
Cool, yeah.
And I think that if I tell you, you're going to actively get rid of it. And I don't want you to do that because it shows who you are."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, you're right," you know? So after that, like, a lot of people have called my accent out. And even to my friends, they always make fun in a joking way that I can't say it. One of my really good friends always tells me to say "rear wheel drive." I was like, "Stop."
What?
Rear wheel drive.
Okay. Rear wheel drive. Okay.
So I was like, "Stop." But yeah, so I wanted my speech to kind of, even for Toastmasters, it was like kind of my introduction speech. So I wanted my speech to be about that, how I have an accent and I'm proud of it. And I even highlighted the words that I can't say, like V's and W's, stuff like that. And I mentioned points like why I'm proud of the accent that I have, which some of the points I remember were like, it shows that I'm from a different country, which sparks up conversations, you know, always. It also shows that I've worked so hard because now I can speak fluent English, you know, and even then you can still hear the accent sometimes, but it shows that I work really hard to be where I'm at, you know, and the fact that I'm here, I was there in front of so many people delivering a speech in English,
which a lot of people who speak amazing English perhaps would not be able to do.
Because a lot of people get, you know, shy or like stage anxiety. I was there right in front of them doing that. It's like, I think I'm proud of who I am, and that definitely was my title too. I'm proud of who I am.
Yeah, correct. Okay, we spoke about cultural shocks, but I'm sure there are some things which you must have absolutely loved about the American culture when you first came here, or still do. Are there any such things? I'll give you an example.
Okay.
What I really like is two things. One is that there is a growth mindset here, especially like at work and stuff. People really are ready to help one another and the sentiment is that, okay, I'll help you, you help me, and we all grow together for the larger good. Which sometimes I feel is not there in India, and I understand because we have been historically deprived of resources and we have a huge population. So it's like everything is up for grabs. So if he gets it, I won't get it. So I understand that mentality. But that's something I like about here, the growth mindset, and the fact that people sort of mind their own business. Like in India, I was ridiculed a lot for not eating street food because I had some incidents early in my childhood where I fell sick. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna eat street food. It's usually unhygienic. Here, if I say something like that, okay, like, oh, I don't eat this or I don't want to eat this, people leave me alone, which I really like. This is just one small example, but these are two things which I like. Is there something?
I like that. I would say, like, since we both work full time, I've noticed that even with teachers and at work, you give your elders, not elders as in by age, but like elder age, of course, but also position, title, some respect. But I've seen in India, like, people are scared to speak up. Like, for example, if you were my manager and you did something completely wrong to me, I feel like if I was in India, I would be scared to be like, hey, Rohit, like, this is not it. But here, it's as simple as scheduling a 30-minute call with a manager, and it's like at this point, my manager is my friend. Like we plan pranks together, and we pranked our team so many times. No one trusts us anymore. But so I think that's one thing that it's okay if you speak up here and you're not going to get in trouble. Whereas in India, even if you try to speak up, I remember they were like, oh, principal's office. And here, like, what principal? What? But so that's one thing I like. And it's in every case, school, high school, college, work, and just as simple as even a restaurant. Like, you're allowed to speak up and say your opinions.
Exactly.
So it's okay to have opinions here. That's what I like. And then
that is still something I'm trying to develop, even at work or otherwise. Now I have learned to not have any shame asking even the most basic questions. But before it was like, oh, am I asking too many questions? Will they think I'm like stupid? Will I come across as annoying or obnoxious? So like asking questions and speaking up, like. I remember certain courses we had in Georgia Tech, and the students used to disagree with the professor in such a conversation and casual manner, and like a very healthy sort of discussion used to take place. I was really inspired by that.
Yeah, and when I was in school there, I never remembered like sometimes in India, even here, I always question like, why am I doing this? And that's the biggest question students have. And at work, I still question like sometimes like, why am I doing this? Why is it so important? But I have conversations with my manager all the time. Is if I feel like I'm doing something that is not worth my time and energy, I speak up and I'm like, hey, like, I don't think I should be working on this, and this is why. And they'll definitely take that into consideration at least. So that, and even something as simple as like being able to return things. I feel like there's a lot of trust in this country. If you don't like something, you can return something. I've never in my life seen that in India, ever.
I know.
And it's good, but I feel like a lot of people abuse it. But it is what it is. But I think this country runs on trust a lot, and it's good to have that.
So you worked at Waffle House when you were in your undergrad?
No, I worked at Waffle House when I was in 11th grade.
You told me something really interesting. I think the first time we met, you were like, you have worked all your life. I really respect that. I'm sure it must have built a strong work ethic in you, and the belief that you need to really earn your life. There's nothing like a free lunch. Tell me more about that.
I wouldn't say like it developed like work ethic necessarily, because I still find myself like dozing off or doing work or stuff like that. But I think what it developed is the urge / need / want to be independent. And since I've started working, I realized that money is not important, but it's definitely needed to be able to survive. And I think everyone knows that. It definitely doesn't bring
Yeah.
happiness, but in order to survive, you
Yeah.
definitely need money.
Yeah.
And it does bring you happiness, things like being able to book a flight whenever
Exactly.
you want,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
be able to go wherever you
Yeah,
want, you know?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I love the fact that people, like people say stuff about capitalism a lot, but of course there are problems with capitalism, but money isn't really considered dirty here, which I really like.
yeah.
Which is how it should be, right? Like it's the one thing that makes the world run,
Yeah.
which is money. People think it's love, but I think it's money, and
Yeah.
and some love. But
I
yeah,
think more money.
Yeah.
I would say 70% money.
Money, yeah.
And like rest love.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
math is hard.
Yeah.
But so what I was saying is that I think working definitely has pros and cons.
Yeah.
Pros is that I feel like people view me differently.
Right.
Even my family members, because they think of me as someone who's independent, you know, in a good way.
Yeah.
Then there's also cons which is like, since I came here, I've never gone to India. And a lot of people think that, oh, usko nahi aana, like she doesn't want to come, she's
Yeah.
all American, she doesn't care about us.
Yeah.
It's not that, it's
Yeah.
because I'm so like, it's so, we only get like what, 2 weeks off
Yeah.
at work in
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
So, and that too because we have a full-time job.
Correct.
I never had days off because
Yeah.
I never had full-time jobs. So
Right.
part-time job, you
Right.
cannot take 2 weeks off and go
Correct.
somewhere.
Correct.
So in the time when I did have to
Yeah.
go to India, COVID was there, so
Yeah.
I couldn't go. But yeah.
Yeah, that I agree. Speaking of being connected to Indian roots,
Mhm.
something we both have in common is Bollywood. When I first came to Hilor's house, I saw, I saw this in Hilor's house. And I know it's inverted here, but it says "Tujh mein Rab Dikhta Hai," which is a Shah Rukh Khan song.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a Salman fan, apparently more than that. But we'll come at SRK versus Salman in a bit.
I want to visit that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who's better.
I'm also a huge Bollywood buff. My t-shirt today I wore especially for this. It says "Picture Abhi Baki Hai Mere Dost," which is
Sharp.
Shah Rukh from Om Shanti
Shanti
Om.
Om.
And this has been gifted to me by one of my closest friends. Her name is Sharvari. So yeah, this is something we have in common. And there have been times where I'm like, hey, Hilor, go for a walk to Piedmont. You're like, oh, I'm going to watch Suryavanshi, or I'm going to watch Gangubai Kathiawadi. So you're completely connected to
Yeah.
your Bollywood roots. Speak more about that.
Yeah, speaking about Gangubai Kathiawadi, watched it 2 times. Everyone needs to watch it.
Okay, I shall. Yeah.
It's so good.
So good.
Connected to Indian roots. I think
I mean, more like Bollywood or Indian roots. Yeah.
Bollywood. I think it honestly frustrates me so much that like people in America or anywhere that is
Yeah.
not India don't know Bollywood.
Yeah.
They know of it, but I think the way I say it to everyone for that, there's no emotion that has not been captured in a Bollywood song.
That is true.
Like no matter what you feel, if you feel frustrated, if you feel whatever you feel, you can hear that in Bollywood.
And even in frustration, like the nuances, like there's a range of frustrations we go through for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
All those are captured by one or the other song.
Yeah, definitely like breakups, first love, second love,
Yeah.
like breaking up, divorce, anything
Yeah.
that is friendships have been captured. So I think I love that a lot.
Yeah.
And as they say, like when you're not at home, you miss home even more.
Yeah.
So that's literally in my case.
Yeah.
Like when I was in India, I took I wouldn't say about anything, like everything for granted because I didn't know that I'm gonna move out. And now that I'm not there, it's like, as they say, like Indians who are in America celebrate Holi, Diwali even more than people in India, minus the fireworks, because they miss it so much. So I think I'll always be connected, and that's one of my pet peeves when people think that just because I live here, I don't listen to Hindi songs, I feel like that's all I listen to. Sometimes I have to force myself to be up with the culture here and like listen to like
Western,
pops and stuff like that.
I still don't listen to Western music, and people have tried.
The same vibe is not there. Like like you need that, like Arijit Singh or Atif Aslam or even Mika, Shreya Ghoshal. That vibe is not there, and it'll never be there.
Yeah, true.
So,
and speaking of Indian roots and more of your Gujju roots, I know you're a huge fan of Garba.
Oh yeah.
I have seen videos on your Instagram. Speak more about that. I know Atlanta, we are in Atlanta right now, has a big Gujarati community.
Yeah.
Speak more about that.
I think as they say, like, Garba runs in the Gujaratis' blood.
Yeah.
Like, you come out the womb doing Garba, and that's definitely true for
Yeah.
me. A lot of the times when my family sees me doing Garba at, in Navratri, they think that I'm drunk. And in reality, like, I haven't had anything to drink.
Yeah.
It's just me. Like, something happens, and I call it like something just happens in my body, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, Garba. I love Garba. I listen to it. I listen to at least one Garba every single day of my life.
Okay.
New one or something that I already know.
Yeah.
Because it just hypes me up. Like, again, Gujarati. Anything Garba, even not Garba. Like, I feel like I have, my friend has a video of me doing Garba at a club in an American song.
Wow.
Because Garba is definitely life.
Yeah.
So I love it, and I like the meaning behind it, and I also like to dress up like any other girl, But yeah, so love Garba.
Nice. So since we both met in Toastmasters, there's a segment in Toastmasters which she aces at. It's called Table Topics, which means you're given an impromptu question. And you're supposed to answer it.
1 or 2 minutes.
1 or 2 minutes to answer it. I had one of my colleagues was a guest on one of the meetings, and he was like, wait, so I was chosen randomly for the table topics. And then later he was like, wait, they chose you randomly? You didn't know about the question? Did you know they were going to choose you? I was like, no, it was all improv.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I don't get the point of this whole thing. I was like, it's fine, let's forget it.
It's for times like this.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason she's so good, and I'll have to edit very less here is because she's Hilor, but also because perhaps
I think
Toastmasters has
You're just gassing me up. I don't think I'm that good. But I'm talking about my life right now, so it's...
Also, your name is very unique.
Hilor, yeah.
What does it mean?
It means Hawa ka Joka.
Oh.
Especially in the storm.
Okay.
So when it, before the storm comes, my mom says that it's very fitting.
It is.
With my personality.
Because are you like a warning for a storm?
I'm not a big fan of my name personally. I think it sounds like a bomb. In my opinion, like Hilor. But so that's just my opinion.
Okay.
But the only reason why I like it is because it's unique. I've never met another Hilor, and I don't think I'll ever meet one. Unless one of your subscribers want to name their child.
If your name is Hilor, comment
down below.
You might get a gift.
Add me on Instagram, Hilor_Shah.
And her Instagram bio, which I love, says Chota Packet Bada Dhamaka. Are you a Chota Packet and Bada Dhamaka?
I believe so, yes. And it's something that I didn't come up with.
Okay.
Well, I was called that.
Okay.
I always was called in English. I was called that small, because I'm 5.
Petite,
I'm 5 feet, very tiny. Not even 100 pounds. And they're like, your energy is a lot.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, Chota, that's my bio.
Yeah. What advice? And this may sound really random after all the fun talk we had. I'm sure you've made a lot of mistakes, learned from them, or not made mistakes but have had experiences and learned from them. Is there something you would like to tell people who come here regardless of when they come here? If someone comes here for their masters, or someone who comes here in their school, from India especially? I
think I'll tell a story, and I think it will show progress on how things have progressed in my life. When I first started working at Waffle House, which I don't know if there's an equivalent in India, you could say. Waffle House is a very low, cheap restaurant. People go there at 2 a.m. When I started my first day, I remember that they were in need of people, so I didn't even get training. And mind you, I'm completely vegetarian, never had eaten meat, never in my life have ever seen chicken. Then this was back in the day. So on my first day,
and this was at what time?
This was when I was in 11th grade. And I've seen chicken because I've lived here 2 years, but steak and all, pork, I didn't even know what that was. So 11th grade, I started working. First day, I had a customer who asked for steak, and then I remember that I at that point didn't even know what to ask, because there's different types of steaks, sirloin
Rare.
and T-bone and like types of steak.
Oh, okay.
So then I was like, okay, steak.
Yeah.
And then apparently there's different types to cook them, like you
Right.
mentioned,
Yeah.
medium rare and
Yeah.
stuff. And didn't even know, didn't ask the question.
Right.
He didn't even tell me, assuming that I know.
Yeah.
I went up to the cook because you call out the order, and I was like, pull one steak, and they'll be like, what kind? And I was like, there's kinds of steaks. And everyone was just looking at me like, what? And then after I went to the customer, like, what do you want? And then they said sirloin. It's like, okay, sirloin. They're like, okay, how do you want it cooked? And I was like, I don't know, cook it good, I guess. Like, what do you mean how? So, like, don't cook it bad? He's like, no, there's temperature. So I went back. And at that point, I thought I like, the person's gonna hate me because they're gonna think I'm dumb. They're gonna think that I'm stupid, that I don't know. But I clearly went up to them and I explained to them that, hey, I'm vegetarian, I'm from India. Like in India, Gujarat especially, like steak, in Hinduism, you know,
like beef and
steak, and
India,
in Gujarat, I've never really seen people say that they're eating pork chops. So I told him, and then it turned into such a positive thing. He started laughing at me in a very positive manner, and I remember like his bill was like $25, and he tipped me $15.
Wow.
And it became a regular customer.
Okay.
Every time he came, he would ask for me. So the reason why I say this is because I think that the way I went back to him and asked him more questions, and I thought that he's gonna hate me, he's gonna think I'm stupid or dumb. But I think that it's important for people to know, especially if you're not from here, like, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
Like, never be afraid. You're not dumb, you know. You just either don't get it, which is, it's okay. It's okay to not get things. Or you're just being the person who asks the question. That's to say, like, if you have a question, there's probably like 7 other people in the room have the same question. People are just afraid to ask. So I would say that, like, don't be afraid to ask questions. And like, I would say, like, don't feel pressurized to fit in because you're not here to fit in. And a lot of people like forget that. And I'm sure like when people come from India, their main, or anywhere from the world, their main goal is to live in US, get a job, you know, earn money so they can help out their family back in India or wherever. So I think like people get bogged down trying to fit in, and I wish I can go up to them and be like, stop doing this. Like, you're meant for more. You know, and what do you like? What are you trying to fit into? So concentrate on your goal, and then I feel like when you concentrate on your goal, eventually you'll start meeting people that have the same goals as you. Surround yourself with people who have the same goals, who have the same work ethic as you, so then you can be better and like live a life that you want to live and your parents want you to live in a country. So I think that's that.
Okay.
I feel like that's a good advice. I wish someone told me that when I first came here, but I didn't have someone to tell me.
I agree, and that's, I mean, really, it's really amazing. You're just 22, I think. 23,
no, 22.
22, and I mean, those are really important life lessons. The first one, especially, like, that's something I need to tell myself even more, even today. Looking back, 10 years ago, like this girl, scrawny girl who came from, you were in Vadodara, right?
Yeah, Vadodara.
Vadodara, who came from Vadodara to the US. School must have been really hard.
Yeah, it was difficult.
It was, in terms of like, not the syllabus.
Not the studying more so.
The other parts.
The fit-in part.
Fit-in parts. And then, you know, you graduated from Georgia State University. You're working a full-time job. You're earning. You must have shut your naysayers by just success, you know? Do you like look back sometimes and pat yourself on the back thinking how far you've come?
I would say yes. Like, I give myself credit for sure, because I think it's now, like, I have a friend who just came here from India, and he's one of my really good friends. And when he was in India, and when I first came here, he didn't understand that I have work to go to, or I'm so tired, like I cannot talk to you. But now when he came here, he realizes what I'm talking about, that American life is just so busy. But I do give myself a pat in the back every now and then, but I do know that there's more. You know, like, I don't want to settle.
Yeah.
This is not it.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that I've done more than what
Yeah.
most people have done, but this is not it.
This is
for
just
me.
the beginning.
This
for
is
you.
just the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the beginning. I would say like this is the middle part.
No.
Like,
I mean,
we have to play catch up now
Yeah.
to the potential, I would say.
yeah, but I mean, I don't even know you that well
Yeah.
yet, but I still feel like so proud of you, knowing whatever I know of you.
Yeah.
I think you've come really far, and hats off.
Yeah.
First, like sticking it out for your resilience. And I think we have come to the end of the show.
We should do one more table topic.
Okay,
Just a
yeah.
random. Think
Yeah.
about it right now. No cuts. Think. I'll think you think.
If you could take a hot air balloon over any city in the world, where would it be?
So I'll go to Istanbul.
Okay.
Why did I say that? Because I just watched a TikTok video like 30 seconds ago.
Okay.
Not that, an hour ago
Yeah.
when I was waiting for him. I think it's very beautiful, and I want to take a vacation
Right.
by myself. I've been
Right.
thinking about it a lot. I've
Yeah.
never done that. So I think it's also important to enjoy your own company, and the only way you know that is by going on vacations, you
Yeah.
know? So I've been wanting to actually plan a trip with myself alone. So I think I would probably take it to Istanbul.
Okay.
For you,
Your
I
turn.
would say,
Oof,
let me think. This is hard.
I know.
What is one hidden talent that no one knows about you? Even the podcast people don't know.
Like no one knows about me?
No one.
That's a good one. A hidden talent no one knows about me. Okay, I think I can sense the vibe of a room when I enter it.
Okay.
Especially like if the room is filled with people, like more than like two people.
Yeah.
I can, of course, like I'm not always accurate, but I
Yeah.
can, understand like
Gauge, like you're
Yeah.
gonna get along.
not like what has necessarily happened before, but how I should behave in that room.
I see. That's a very good skill set.
It's like a sixth sense.
Yeah.
It's not very accurate or strong, but I think it has helped me a lot because when I enter a room, I'm like, okay, this is how I should behave. I should speak in this way. I should speak these things, and it usually turns out right. So I think that's something now Hilor has extracted from me, which the whole world now
The
knows.
whole world doesn't know.
Yeah.
I think you should call me for episode 2.
Season 2.
It should be
Yeah.
all table topics.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, we should have a bowl and
Yes.
then pick random questions.
Yeah.
That would be fun. You
Okay.
can write 10, I can write 10.
That would be a lot of fun.
That'd be a fun
Yeah.
topic.
Cool. I think you're all set for season 2.
Yeah.
I'll make you my first guest on season 2.
Okay, bet.
And I'm sure the audience is gonna love you, so they're gonna like bring Hilor back. Yeah, hashtag bring Hilor back.
Or they're gonna hate me.
No.
We're gonna have like hate comments.
No, I
She
think
sucks.
I think people are gonna be like, I wanna be friends with her. She's too entertaining.
Hey, I'm always open.
Yeah.
Hilor_Shah.
Hashtag bring Hilor back. But thank you so much for supporting my show, for being a guest.
Of course.
You are the moon and I'm talking to the moon. And even after this ends, I'm gonna like keep talking to her
Yeah, of course.
endlessly because that's what we love to do. But thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love this. I was very nervous before coming, and now I feel like there's no need to be nervous.
Yeah, cool.
So,
Yeah. Bye.
talking to the moon.